Be honest for a second. When you see this thing for the first time, how many of you were thinking like, instead of rocket launchers, this thing are like rocket boosters? I finally got to kill this thing! Oh my god. I like how whenever there's a comment saying that they dislike this thing or they, Gaijin basically screwed up this vehicle and all that, and then there's always a reply comment that says, oh, Gaijin is a small company, they're busy, they're developing everything else, you need to be patient with them. If I only can guess, you guys are probably new to this game, and let me tell you something. This is not the first time Gaijin royally screwed up a vehicle. Hey guys, it's Jim here, and welcome back to War Thunder. And today, we are checking out one of the vehicles for the summer grind event. This is the Zrínyi, is that how you pronounce it? This is the Zrínyi Mark 1, a Hungarian tank destroyer under the Italian Tech Tree, and battle rating 4.0, rank 3. And if I had to compare this thing, it feels more like a StuG 3F rather than the StuG 3G. Now let me break it down to you and I'll show you why people are not too particularly happy about this thing. Now first things first, armor. You only have 75mm that barely has any angles. Like, this basically says I want to die. So how weak are we talking? The fact that you can actually die to a Sherman 75mm at long range. All you have to do is shoot this thing, and this is not an easy thing to miss because of how big it is. So yeah, one of the few things that people are complaining is this thing's armor, and I did do a bit of digging and stuff like that, and there seems to be a difference between prototype and production model. But yeah, they're saying that this thing is supposed to be 100mm, so why is this 75mm? And it's being put in the same situation as the StuG 3G is really beyond me. There has to be some kind of armor on this thing, right? Well, there is. It's right here. 75mm flat plate, but then it's actually rounded around here, sitting on top of a 50mm plate right here that is surrounded by a underlapping 50mm. So in other words, yeah. No sure it's getting through this anytime soon at 4.0, but the real question is who the hell shoots this? And then you might be thinking again, 75mm. Oh, sure, 75mm you can just angle, right? Again with the corner wedge. Seriously, what's with the corner wedge? What's with the corner wedge? They really serve no purpose. And another armor from the front, you have 50mm right here sitting underneath a 35mm. But again, who the hell shoots this when you have this? Then moving on to the sides, you only have 25mm side armor. You can die to a 50 cal in this thing, man. And rear armor's nothing much to look at. Top face armor, at least it's covered so you don't get overpressured by 75mm gun caliber. But it's still non-existent, so 50 cals autocannons can easily top-notch destroy you. But at least the mobility on this thing is not too bad. Driving forward may be a bit of a struggle sometimes. But at least the good news is that you have a decently wide set of tracks, as well as horsepower is not too bad. So 40 kilometers an hour, that's actually not bad. Then here's the next interesting thing. In the event that you fire your gun and then you need to reverse, this thing basically has 6 gears in reverse, so you go 40 kilometers an hour forward, and then when you need to retreat into cover, yeah, that's not an issue at all. Just beware that turning in this thing is a bitch. Now moving on, we're looking at the armament of this thing. This is the 75mm 43M cannon, and if I had to make this thing a comparison, it's a little bit like the StuG 3G cannon. Let me show you. This is the shot that we'll be firing. 43M Panzer Granat. Armor piercing cap ballistic cap shell, so that means you have a very good angle of penetration with really good shrapneling, as well as you can pen up to 145mm of armor. But your explosive mass is a little bit lacking, unfortunately. So that's something to be careful of. And another thing to note is that you don't have a machine gun on board, so you might want to bring a few high explosive. But team, why bring high explosive? You got rockets, right? On this thing? Well, this is the main attraction of this vehicle, and unfortunately, they are really not that good. And not to say that because they don't really do shit when you hit an enemy tank. I mean, let me show you the rockets. 27mm of penetration, 150mm caliber, and 2.15 kilograms of explosive mass. That's not too bad. You just have to shoot the turrets of an enemy tank, but when it comes to other tank destroyers or turretless SPGs, that's not happening. But that's not the issue of the rockets though, if I'll be honest. The issue is that, firstly, when you aim up and down with this thing, one is that your rockets are already zeroed at like, what, 700? 600 meters? So yeah, good luck hitting somebody at medium or short range with this thing. And aiming with it up and down is at the mercy of your gun barrel, so that means if you aim a gun up, these things will aim up. If you aim down, these things will aim down. But if I'm not mistaken, it can't really aim down too much at all. So yeah. And the other problem is that these rockets are at the mercy of your hull. So that means where your hull is aiming is where your rockets are going. Not to mention they're not zeroed in any way, so that means, yeah, they just go a straight line forward instead of like where your barrel is pointed. And I can tell you that's a lot harder than it sounds. So yeah, these rockets are practically useless in every way, or just really hard to aim with. Otherwise, other aspects of the gun, you have up to 40 shells. Just bring as many as you want. Not like it's really gonna matter. Reloading rate 6.8 seconds. That's not too bad actually. Just be a bit careful that sometimes things can actually outrun you. And negative 12 degree plus 10 degree left and right horizontal aiming. That's pretty decent actually. That's pretty much the standard for most turretless SPGs. And vertical guidance, negative 8 gun depression. This is actually pretty excellent, and I know that it's not 10 degrees, but here's the thing though. This is actually a pretty low profile cannon, so your negative 8 is going to feel like negative 12. And you don't have a gun stabilizer, and that's something to be careful of, is that this thing bounces quite a fair bit, but not as bad as last time. So yeah, you can probably see that this thing is don't really deserve to be a 4.0. Like, if a Sherman 75mm can kill this thing at long range, you know something is wrong. And not to mention that this thing keeps getting compared to the StuG 3G, and I don't really blame them as to why. Because as you can see, same battle rating, same rank, and not to mention, I'm not exactly sure when they made this change, but this thing now pens as much as the Zrínyi. The Zrínyi used to be slightly more penetration than this thing, than the StuG. So yeah, this didn't exactly help the Zrínyi at all. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure if this is going to be staying like this, or if they're going to bump the battle rating down a little bit, or give the thing the proper 100mm of armor right here instead. But since it's Gaijin, yeah, we know that's not gonna happen. Considering the previous vehicles. There we go. Knock it off. Hello. Why you don't want to fire, you stupid rockets? you, buddy? Solo pues es MacLeod. There is something I do not want to see. And then I go, dude, why? There's a... Okay, I thought that was a shoe. Oh, god damn it. Perfect. I finally got to kill this thing! Oh my god. Skill. I know you can do it. Welcome. Oh lord, man, this thing is so low. Oh, drive. Just I want to repair. What? The heck? What's up? I exist, buddy. worst place to hit him. Okay, we'll be seeing it for a while. Thank you. Excuse me. Oh.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Hi, buddy. Oh, that was friendly.